This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
You're listening to the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. And now, here's your host, Lisa Rangel.
Welcome and hello. Welcome to the 11th episode of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. I'm Lisa Rangel, host of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast and the founder of Chameleon Resumes. We are an executive resume writing and LinkedIn profile writing job search consultancy firm. We help executives and rising leaders land their next position faster. And today's podcast show topic is optimizing your LinkedIn profile so recruiters can find you. We're going to address how to optimize your LinkedIn profile so hiring managers and recruiters can find you when they're searching for people who do what you do. This is the essence of passive recruiting. Passive recruiting is when you're getting found by recruiters when you're not particularly looking for a job actively. So this is a key element in the Pretend You're Fired Today action list. You want to look the part so you can create demand for yourself consistently. This way, if your job situation changes unexpectedly, you already have pent-up demand for what you do that you can capitalize on and turn on when you need it. When you have demand and recruiters just calling you regularly, you never have to worry if your company changes gears on you, because if they do, you will be ready. You can't prevent them from changing gears on you, but you can be ready if they do, and you will be viewed as current and relevant and in demand to the marketplace. That's the goal. So what I cover with you today, you will be able to reinforce with our LinkedIn profile cheat sheet, where you can download that cheat sheet at linkedinprofilecheatsheet.com. Pretty simple. So apply the lesson today on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile so recruiters can find you. So this way you stay marketable to your network, which is one of the many ways to have job security in today's economy, and proactively take care of your career. In past episodes, we talked about the only way to truly protect yourself from job loss is to pretend you're fired today and make a list of the activities you would do to start to find your next job. Do it while you're working. Always have this list in the works. Having your resume and LinkedIn profile ready and your network primed is the best path to always be working, to have career continuity and to not have gaps between employment. So as we've said, in episode 1, the first thing on that list is dusting off your resume and getting it up to speed. And we covered in the first 7 episodes how to format your resume according to today's trends for maximum impact. And now, including this episode, we've spent the last 3 episodes focusing on the other equally important document for you to maintain, which is your LinkedIn profile. Specifically, in the last episode, we covered on how to avoid ageism in your profile, and you want to appear relevant. And today, we're going to optimize your profile so this way hiring managers can find you. That's the topic for today. I want to start by giving you the main points of how to accomplish this. First, you want to look at job postings for the job that you want. And in those job postings, you want to look for trending keywords. Just like you would need to use keywords to optimize a website, your LinkedIn profile is the same. You're using keywords, so this way when recruiters do searches, they're going to be able to find your profile. So check out job descriptions of positions you are interested in at companies where you want to do that particular job, and look through them for any trending, repetitive keywords. Recruiters have done some of this homework for you in terms of keyword identification. They include these relevant keywords in their job descriptions. So use those keywords in your profile to have recruiters find you. Reverse engineer the process that recruiters use to find you so they can find you. So just reverse engineer what they're doing there. If you see certain terms sprinkled through the job posting a few times, it's usually a good sign that the employer is using them to get noticed by candidates, and so candidates can find their job. So you're going to want to, again, reverse engineer that process. Use those terms in the content of your profile. Next, when coming up with these keywords, avoid the broad terms that can apply to anybody. All right, and this is the same idea for your resume. We talked about this in earlier episodes for the resume, and now we're going to talk about how it pertains to your profile. You want to avoid broad, non-descriptive terms. You don't want to be too vague. General terms such as marketing, management, finance. They don't really tell anyone what you do. You could have had any role within a company, within those departments, a marketing department or finance department, but they don't know exactly what your expertise is. Was it digital marketing? Is it corporate finance that you were in? Were you head of market research? Were you a general manager? Were you a chief operations officer? Ask yourself these types of questions on how to narrow down the keywords to be specific and avoid broad terms. The chances when you ask yourself these kinds of questions, you will improve your chances of being found through LinkedIn searches when you have more specific terms and phrases populated throughout your profile. Next, sometimes recruiters search by certain technical terms that are relevant to that particular profession. So you want to include those technical terms used within your profession or your industry. This is specifically true if you are working in fields involving medicine or science or technology, and it's really relevant to every industry, but I think in those particular fields, it's even more relevant based on therapeutic areas and drugs and the different types of products that are available and showcased in those industries. Another way recruiters sometimes search for candidates is by putting the names of software or, again, like I said, products that the company sells, because they're looking to recruit people out of those particular fields or companies that sell those products. So make sure you include those in your profile. So here's an example. So if maybe the recruiter's looking for a sales executive who's familiar with Salesforce or how to capitalize on Salesforce, because that's what they use in their organization. Or maybe they're looking for a VP of information technology who knows how VMware is used. So you want to make sure that you're using the technical terms, and to find out which technical terms are important for the jobs that you want, you can start with the job postings. This will require some research on your part, but it's all worth it because now you're looking at the target and seeing what they value and then incorporating that into your language and how it relates to you. So just a quick note about using technical terms in your profile. Make sure you use both the full name and the abbreviation, because recruiters sometimes search on either one or the other, and you want to make sure you get captured in both searches. So keywords are a great way to get eyeballs on your profile. When used properly, you can ensure that the recruiters will be able to find you. It will increase your chances of being found. And then once you complete this keyword work, fourth item here is use these terms throughout the profile. Seems obvious enough, but where do you do that? The first key place to use this information is in your professional headline. Some call it a tagline. This is the first place for personal branding on your profile. It's next to your name, underneath your name. It's the most critical weighted item when it comes to optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Again, it's under your name, and the phrase that appears below your name, this headline or this tagline, whatever you want to call it, because people call it different things, this is the most highly weighted field in LinkedIn profile optimization. You do not want it to default to your current employment title. That's what LinkedIn does as a default. You want to change it and capitalize on all the spaces you're given to use keywords to describe what you do and what you stand for. It's the first piece of information besides your name a recruiter sees in a search result as well. When you're alongside other individuals that meet the search criteria and you're in a long search result, this is the first and only piece of information besides your photo and your name that a recruiter sees to describe you. So that's why this is important. Keywords listed in that headline field will have great impacts, not only in the search element, but again, in the visual element when people are looking at you amongst a sea of other search results. The right keywords will increase your ranking amongst these other candidates for the same terms as well. So it's the main place to make a visual first impression. Have this line stand out. So this way you stand out amongst the others that you're alongside in a search result. And just to reiterate, this is why you do not want to use the default headline that LinkedIn defaults to, which is your most recent job title. Take advantage of these 100 characters to make sure that your keyword impact is maximized. And lastly, don't stop with adding the keywords at your headline. You want to continue by adding them to your job titles and your summary. The job title field for each LinkedIn employment section is also a highly weighted field. And if your job title is too vague, you can miss out on a chance for being ranked higher in a search result or even getting found in the first place. So what works really well is to, in addition to your title, your actual job title, which you want to be factual with, is to use keywords to describe your area or your expertise or some of the results you brought to the table. Do not change your title. Nobody's saying to change your title. Your title is not only going to be maybe 10, 15, 20 characters at the most, and you're going to have a lot more characters to use. So use those characters for keywords. So for instance, instead of just saying finance director can become finance director dash fixed income investments. Describe the area that you oversee. So this way, it truly can explain your job function to somebody outside of the organization. And it helps with keyword optimization. The key is to provide as much keyword detail as you can, given the space you're allowed. It will give a clear explanation of what you do. And again, the more specific you can be, the more likely you're going to come up in these search results for the jobs that you want. And regarding your summary, while it's not as heavily weighted for keyword optimization as your job titles and your headline, it's a key area to reinforce what words you're trying to highlight, what keywords you're trying to highlight. And also the keywords help get the eyeballs to your profile. Your summary, when you're using the keywords, will help engage the reader to keep reading and reach out to you once you get them to your profile, right? That's the ultimate goal. So this is the follow through. You need to keep the keywords bled through your summary and employment section descriptions as well. So applying these 5 points will set you off to a strong start to optimizing your profile. And you're going to refine a remaining 6 points on our LinkedIn profile cheat sheet, which again can be found at linkedinprofilecheatsheet.com. And I am so proud of you for writing this profile before you need it. Taking care of yourself before you need it is awesome, and it's how you're going to catapult your career to the next levels because you're going to be ready for whatever comes your way. And if you're currently not working, listening to this podcast, don't worry. You now know what to do, and you can make your profile stronger starting today. So I want to help you take action on today's episode. Go to linkedinprofilecheatsheet.com, download the cheat sheet, and start comparing your profile to the sample that I have there for you to use. And you're going to get other points to incorporate into your profile that we covered in the last episode and some that we didn't have the time to discuss today. So I give you a sample that you're able to compare your profile to. So once you've downloaded that and you're looking at it, notice between your profile and the sample, what do you have that's similar between your profile and the sample? What do you notice that's missing? What could be stronger? These are the things that I want you to make note of and make changes. And then bring the profile cheat sheet with you for the next episode, because I'm going to show you how to unlock the power of your network using LinkedIn in the next episode. And having the cheat sheet with you will help. And also, I want you to remember, for the next few episodes of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast, we're going to continue through a list of tactics and activities that you need to do now, as if you were let go today, to ensure that you're always ready for whatever the world brings your way. Again, the first item on this Pretend You're Fired Today list is to have your resume ready, which you can review the back episodes to make sure you get that back up to speed. And we're currently working on the second item on the list, which is your LinkedIn profile. My friend saved me with her priceless advice of pretend you're fired today and taking action as if you were fired today. And I'm paying it forward with you. I ask you to pay this sentiment forward as well and share it with as many executives and aspiring professionals who you feel would benefit from this advice in today's economy. So to get a jump on this second item, I want to stick to the action here. To get a jump on that second item of the Pretend You're Fired Today activity list, again, get your LinkedIn profile ready. Go to linkedinprofilecheatsheet.com, download the freebie sample that we have there, and start writing your profile, incorporating what we discussed today, what we discussed in the last couple episodes, and what's on the cheat sheet. And next week, we're going to tackle how to unlock the power of your network using LinkedIn. This is where the leverage happens. So thank you so much for joining me today, and we're going to pick up again at the next episode. Have a great week.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.